Our decision makers are starting to realize that they want more access and quicker access to make decisions than how they've done it in the past. Everything we see on reports or pivots comes from somewhere, and without doubt, most of it's in a system or in a database, and that's typically our best starting point. I will say the fair amount of the reports I've seen through the years that are pivot-based or have charts, they're often hand-built by the user. Asking questions is such an important part of the process, but not the "why are you doing it this way" question, but more like, do you know where this data lives? How do you get this data? Are you exporting it or does someone email it to you? Once you have the answers to these questions, then you can ask additional questions like, can I export this from the system myself? Does this system allow us to access the backend of the tables? It's also important to know who to ask the questions to. Let's take a look at an example. I might ask Jane, can you tell me a little bit about how you get this data for your pivot? I'm building a similar dashboard for another person, but it appears to be the same data that you're using. Jane may respond, well, Tim from IT sends it to me via email every week, and I update the data and start the process all over again. Now, this is something that hurts me in my soul, but data access is often something that depends on a lot of variables. This is one reason why I created the course on Excel and Access. This allows users to overcome challenges of having just access to spreadsheets or flat files. Okay, back to real life. I'm going to call on my manager, Daniel, and ask if I can talk to IT about data access. My manager will either give me permission, or they'll call on my behalf. It really could go either way. So let's assume my boss said it's okay. So the first call I'm going to make is to Tim. I'll do something like this. Hi, Tim. I'm Robin. Very nice to meet you. I'm working for Daniel and have been asked to create a dashboard showing consumer sales. I talked with Jane in marketing. They mentioned you send the data. Can we talk about how you get the data? Tim says, sure. I run this query and export it each week and send it over to Jane. Then my next question for Tim is, well, Tim, your query has some of the data I need, but not all of it. Is there a way I can run this query myself? Is it possible to access the database through a connection? I only need to read the data in the database. It really could go either way at this point. Let's assume that they say yes, then they will likely help set you up and give you the appropriate permissions. But if you're new and the data is sensitive, it might be no or no for now. You always want to follow the rules of the organization, and the people in technology tend to follow the rules. If they determine that I can have access, they'll give me access, and then the process of data mining kicks in. A little later in this course, I'll share with you my tips and tricks on learning new databases and new datasets. I have had the great experience of never receiving data in usable form, or what I would call clean. I've always sort of been expected to get it cleaned up to make it usable and meaningful. I'm grateful because it helps me appreciate how to deal with any data that I see. What is data cleaning? And since we're at the beginning of the journey, I'm going to keep it really simple. It's the process of standardizing the data and making it meaningful. If you use Excel routinely as a part of your reporting process, or if Excel is all of your reporting process, you're likely cleaning a lot. It might include the removal of columns that are unneeded for the data model and the report. It might mean removing extra spaces from a field using trim or clean commands. It might mean making all states two-letter abbreviations and even making them uppercase. You might have received data where address information is all together, but you need to break it out into individual fields. You might also remove invalid records for the purpose of the report. For example, you don't need all the sales that haven't completed the full process, so you remove those in-process sales records. They're valid for the sales process, but they're not valid for the type of report you're writing. You might also remove duplicated data from a large set to create a set that's appropriate for your business case. These are all simple types of data cleaning or cleansing. And in no way is this a comprehensive list of things you might encounter to produce that nice clean data set. We'll work with several of these commands a little bit later in the course. It is always important that you work with one key goal in mind, which is a high-quality dataset that is usable. You need to feel confident about the result, and you'll need to be able to speak about the data cleaning that you applied to the data, so be sure to keep good notes.